Don't worry, it'll happen Baba's time. It started.
Yeah. Jai Baba.
Jai Baba.
Avtar Meher Baba ki jai. So uh, let me open up. Mamaji, are you in a position to read How to Love God,
Yes, yes.
the message? Yes, please go ahead. Jai Baba.
Avatar Meher Baba ki jai. How to love God. To love God in the most practical way is to love our fellow beings. If we feel for others in the same way as we feel for our own dear ones, we love God. If instead of seeing faults in others, we look within ourselves, we are loving God. If instead of robbing others to help ourselves, we rob ourselves to help others, we are loving God. If we suffer in the suffering of others and feel happy in the happiness of others, we are loving God. If instead of worrying over our own misfortunes, we think of ourselves more fortunate than many, many others, we are loving God. If we endure our lot with patience and contentment, accepting it as His will, we are loving God. If we understand and feel that the greatest act of devotion and worship to God is not to hurt or harm any of His beings, we are loving God. To love God as He ought to be loved, we must live for God and die for God, knowing that the goal of all life is to love God and find Him as our own biggest help. Avtar Meher Baba ki jai. Hello, Karthik, are you there?
Hey, Baba Karthik.
Sorry, I've been speaking on mute. In fact, I was checking if Ashok ji wants to read. Anyway, I'm sorry, I was on mute. I was speaking all along. So
Uh,
welcome again to session number 5. We are reading on the page number 16, and the chapter we are starting with is the wine of love.
Jay Baba, I will definitely read. And can you all?
Okay,
I just want to check if my audio or my sound is okay. I'm just check.
it's good for now. Please go ahead.
Avatar Meher Baba ki jai. The wine of love. When a man wishes to produce wine himself, but on a large scale, he needs to acquire a vineyard and distillery and the knowledge about everything that is involved in the production of wine. He chooses the grapes he knows are best and then the machinery to crush the grapes and distill them into wine. To manage to manage these operations, he employs experts and workers in the business of wine making. Then he builds a suitable space to install the distillery and he starts construction of a suitable building. And again, he employs experts and workers for this purpose. Finally, the wine making machines are installed in the building, and the experts and workers labor there to meet the production. Wine takes years to be right in taste and effect. Finally, the wine is right and is sent for sale, to different wine shops around the world, and then people purchase the wine according to their taste. In this analogy, the one who wants to produce wine and organizes the manufacturing distillery and builds the winery is the avatar. Wow. The experts and workers are the members of his circle, Mandali, and closest lovers who work from the start of the operation. There are also casual laborers who are required from time to time for installing different machinery, and there are those close lovers who keep contact with the avatar. They know the effects of wine but do not want wine all the time. Then there are others who are interested to view the winery and see how the wine is made, and they are interested to meet the owner. These are the followers who love the owner but do not take part in the work at the winery, and occasionally they drink his wine. Then there are those followers from all over the world who purchase the wine from different wine shops, the centers sanctioned by him. These followers come to know about the owner, and after drinking the wine, they also gradually come to love him, the avatar.
So, which category in this analogy do you want to belong?
Well, it's a difficult question, but a beautiful analogy, if I can say. Uh, I think I'm just one of the casual laborers as so far. I mean, in this hierarchy of Mandali and so many great hierarchy, like the pyramid. I mean, the pyramid comes to my mind always, but I think I'm at the bottom level. Still a lot of climbing to be done to reach closer to God. My
Yeah, I
initial,
think I was looking at casual labor as well. But I
you,
can afford to be a little serious. I won't be very casual.
then you are serious and you are, um, you know, the book called Pyramid Climbers. I think you are not at the bottom. You are definitely, you and Kama, Dr. Kama, if I can say, are much ahead intellectually. I mean, that's my sorry. As a, I mean, as this as a my
करते तो
thought.
casual labor ही है पर वाले.
And Dr. Kama is very silent. I mean, I hope he's not gone into silence or mourn. Mamaji,
Yeah.
Yes,
where do you? Uh,
I am the buyer of the wine.
Okay.
Hope
Okay.
to
Very good.
be one in the monthly in generations to come.
Dr.
Do
Kama,
we do we need to sell or you're already sold?
he's
Jai
already
Baba. Jai Baba.
he's already sold. Mamaji is already sold.
Yeah. Yes. Please continue, Ashwin.
Yeah. Um, Now the work of the avatar during his lifetime is to create the great vineyard and to install the distillery and establish a winery of his work to produce the wine of his love. He sees to it that it is perfect wine for the age with the desired intoxication. Thus, he oversees the whole process to make certain the winery of his work produces super wine for all the world. When the vineyard is in full bloom, the winery is in full production, the wine cellars are full, and the distillery is producing an abundance of wine, it is time for him to discard his body, for his work is finished. He lives he leaves his form only when he has made certain that the vineyard and the distillery will produce wine for all the world, and he makes certain there is enough wine for each one's specific share. I take a pause. This is really, I mean, if you can go to the last paragraph. Any comments? Uh, can you just take it up a little bit?
Yeah.
I mean, I think this is a message to all of us that he's left an opportunity for us to be closer to him, and we all get our own specific share. That I think the last line is, if you can either underline or home, or you can highlight. He leaves his farm only when he has made certain that the vineyard and distillery will produce wine for all the world, and he makes certain that there is enough wine for each one's specific share. So we needn't worry. Is what I get from this. I mean, although it's simple, but there's a subtle message in this. What do you say, Karthik or Mamaji? Yeah, anyway,
Yeah, yeah, correct. It's a extension of the analogy. Yeah, it's clear. But I think the key thing is he's working for all of creation, and he has every individual soul in creation in mind. And when he dropped his body, he's already taken care of each one of us.
Yes.
yeah. So
And
there
the
is
last line underlined here, enough wine for each one's specific share. So this takes into the karma siddhanta also. So you don't say take the wine and go to ecstasy. You will have to work your way with that wine.
Get what you deserve. Yes.
uh, a very brilliant point, Mamaji. So that
Yeah.
means we have to not get caught in the threshold of or the fourth plane. We should not get caught in that.
Yes.
We should, we should go beyond that threshold of fourth plane in our journey of evolution. That also could be inferred from here.
Yes.
Karthik, pardon me, but I'm just sharing my thoughts. I don't know whether
Sure.
I'm going off track, or I'm sorry if I am going off track.
Let's continue.
The avatar always completes his work during his physical lifetime, but the result of his work always manifests gradually, and it takes at least 100 years to witness the total result. The total manifestation of the wine of love which the avatar has chosen to offer will be complete when his wine is distributed to every wine shop in the world, and each one has a share and enjoys the intoxication of his love. In the meanwhile, if certain preordained setbacks occur at the distillery, the avatar attends to them through his impersonal form. He does that avataric work in the personal form which requires his physical presence on earth. That avataric work that can be done through his impersonal formless form he does after he drops his body. In other words, the avatar himself works personally during his physical lifetime to prepare the foundation for that work, the vineyard and distillery, but which can be attended afterward through his impersonal form in the period of distribution. Since the avatar alone has responsibility, sorry, somebody wants.
All I wanted to say say was so the period of distribution of the wine is till the next Advent or during the 100 years.
100 years is just the state of exuberance, but later on it is the
Exactly. So it's
consolidation. Yes,
all through to the next Advent. The wine is available for distribution, and he is available in his impersonal form to adjust and respond to any requirements at the distillery, which is nothing but Earth and the universes.
one observation here is what are the imageries that are used for the uh, by way of vineyard and distillery. What I see is vineyard is the basic wine producing avatar, but the way his messages are understood are compiled and then extracted as laws of behavior, laws of say the understanding the process of involution and other things that is done in the distillery. So we are doing a part of the distillery or diswearing the knowledge available in the messages of the avatar. Hope we uh, get the proper wine out of that with our struggle. Jai Baba.
Uh, I just wanted to
Wow,
add that.
that's an extension to the analogy. So
Yes,
what we are doing at MBA is basically distilling the grape juice and getting the wine out of it. Interesting.
yes, yes.
Yes, and it is the wine can be um, you know compared with divine love. And if I may add, there is there's definitely a important significance of the 100 years. Maybe the 100 years is a a window given where the intensity of the divine love, or the intensity of the effect of the divine love, is higher, or the magnetism where people will get attracted to Baba is higher than maybe the next 600 or 1400 years. Is something I which comes to my mind. If somebody wants to, I mean, these are my personal thoughts, but what do you all think?
Correct. I think that's a correct explanation.
That's the
Let's
process of understanding, and then you can still go on saying many things there. So it gets consolidated, it gets foundationized ideas, and also the other rotting process takes place by way of rituals and other aspects which corrode this essence over a period. And that's what we have seen. So many of our work have been distorted. So all those processes will take till, to another when the avatar comes back once again to
again.
clear this and then recreate new ideas in that is the same old wine in the new bottle for the new generation. That process will go on. Jai Baba.
Jay Baba, yes, that is, he will take action which is relevant to that particular time,
Yeah.
and the requirement of at that particular point in time. But I also wanted to cross refer to the chapter on love, which is there in Discourses. I mean, it's a beautiful chapter where they have said about the different degrees of love, from zero being physical love to 100 being divine love. How we, uh, you know, climb that ladder of divine to reach divine love. I mean, that's a very simple chapter, but it's got a lot of. Maybe it can be compared to this analogy. They're reading. Jay Baba. Uh,
Yeah, let's
Since the
continue.
avatar, sorry, you want to say something?
No, I said let's continue.
Yeah, sorry. Since the avatar alone has responsibility for each and everything and being in the universe until the end of time, he cannot be free from this responsibility even after dropping his physical body. In other words, he is and remains responsible for all the affairs in the universe and in the world despite his physical absence. The dropping of the avatar's body announces that his wine is available to all humanity. Wow.
So this is the culmination of a lot of work. And so 1969, the distillery was declared open, right? So to use this analogy, and it's generally available to everybody. That's what it conveys. The wine is available for distribution and consumption for all of creation. Interesting.
It is
So
interesting.
that's the analogy of the vineyard and the advent of the avatar. So thank you, Ashok ji, for reading. Any thoughts before we go to the next one?
I mean, this is a really uh, like like in cricket, the opening overs. This is really food for thought. And thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Okay, so let's continue on to the next essay, the next chapter, the body of God. Though Meher Baba is no longer physically present, he is ever present, which makes him available to humanity. He is the first one, and he is the eternal one, and he never dies. He is the conscious, infinite consciousness, and since completing his work on earth for the universe in his personal form, he is now working in his impersonal form. Though he is formless, he is here as much as when he was in the body. If even a wave cannot move without his will, how is it possible for him, as the ocean of God, to remain without work? In eternity, nothing happens. In illusion, everything happens. In eternity, he does nothing. In illusion, he does everything. Thus, Meher Baba's infinite consciousness, which is linked with our inner calls, is doing everything in illusion because illusion is a shadow. A shadow cannot do anything without the substance, and infinite consciousness is that substance. It is the body of God.
Karthik, if you may stop and highlight that the eternal one, sorry, um, the where is that? He's the first one and he's the eternal one, and he never dies. I mean, although it is very simple, but it's got a lot of meaning in that.
No, but stepping back, what is the body of God from this essay? So it's just two paragraphs. This is it.
Oh,
So, what is the body of God?
Everything, which includes nothing else.
Um,
All universe, right? Everything.
Yes,
There is not a single place where God's body is not there.
yes.
That's what I said. Yeah.
And also it encompasses the nothingness or the illusion also completely.
Illusion is also his body.
Yes, yes. The shadow of his body. These are
Yeah,
hardly
and
10 lines. It almost summarizes the whole of essence of understanding Papa's teachings.
correct.
Karthik, it's
So his
so
body
profound.
never
Can
ends.
you read again?
Yeah, sure. Let me read it again. Though Meher Baba is no longer physically present, he is ever present, which makes him available to humanity. He is the first one, and he is the eternal one, and he never dies. He is the conscious, infinite consciousness. And since completing his work on earth for the universe in his personal form, he is now working in his impersonal form. Though he is formless, he is here as much as when he was in the body. If even a wave cannot move without his will, how is it possible for him, as the ocean of God, to remain without work? In eternity, nothing happens. In illusion, everything happens. In eternity, he does nothing. In illusion, he does everything. Thus, Meher Baba's infinite consciousness, which is linked with our inner thoughts, is doing everything in illusion, because illusion is a shadow. A shadow cannot do anything without the substance, and infinite consciousness is that substance. It is the body of God. So, the body of God is the substance that runs the universe, or substance that is behind illusion, or the, the true mover of the wave, the infuser of life into everything and action into everything, is the body of God. Is that the right way of interpreting this?
Yes, yes, it encompasses
Yeah.
everything. There is nothing beyond this or
Other than that.
without this. Uh,
Okay.
I have one question here. Means recently,
Sure.
just 2 days back, I was talking to one of my friend, and he was talking about some black magic and all, right? So he said black magic is there. Then I was arguing with the God. Means God, if the God is, means he was asking me, the God is everywhere. Then how come this black magic or this is dark energy? How can be it is part of the then universe? If everywhere is the God, then how can this different energy, right? Different energy can be part of this energy. So I was not able to answer him correctly, but so is it two different energy or is it part of that energy again?
with this concept as we have read now, it cannot
Hmm.
be different. It's a awkward manifestation of the shadow in illusion. Maybe the understanding behind that is not clear, mankind. So mankind goes astray, uh, not understanding what it is. To say that it is a different entity or energy is not the correct understanding, as we have crystallized everything within the scope of this infinite consciousness.
Let me
So the
break you here.
shadow of
Sorry.
the infinite consciousness may be
Yeah.
dependent on time and
Yeah.
variations, and it may
So
look different many times in ways varied.
so so that my friend is the Muslim friend actually. Okay, to be more precise, and he was talking about they have concept of Satan. So not Satan or something. I think Satan or they call it something, right? As a what they call some evil, right? Evil,
Correct, correct. There is,
uh,
yeah,
evil.
yeah, yeah,
So this God is
yeah.
different and evil is different for them, right?
No, no, no.
So,
Even
hmm,
no, the way we can understand this is say in the process of our say movement in the path, we are supposed to give up so many things. So what we have accumulated over the evolutionary process and gradually in the involution process or say repeated births in the human form, there are so much of unwanted muck stuck with us. So that whole muck, when it tries to present itself in varied forms, that can be taken as the Saturn. So we have to get rid of that. So it is the negative energy, which is because of the shadow of the infinite intelligence, which we take it as a positive essence through the evolution and reincarnation. So in the process of involution, we shed this one gradually over different phases or planes. So that's how I understand this. So the whole energy is the same. Only thing the way it is presented, either it is presented as a positive, clear, understandable energy, which is the forward path, or as a shadow because of the accumulation of our sansaric, say, attachments over the long process of evolution and reincarnation. That's my understanding. Hey, Baba.
Hey, Baba, I think the way I understand is you mentioned that God is everywhere, right?
Yes.
Everything is divine. So you were talking about shaitan, which you call the devil. Okay. So when you look at each individual, we are playing the role of God as well as the not so God, which is the devil in us. So, on a practical sense, we don't know what God is. Okay. The closest we can think of is pure love. Okay. And then the closest thing for being a devil is the ego. So the ego makes you do all the negative things. The pure love is what keeps you going. You. So in the big picture, top-down approach, there is no duality. First of all, you know, like I said, God plays G to G, God to God, game of duality to get over duality. So coming back to the same essays, if you keep reading the essays, lover and the beloved and purposelessness in infinite existence, the whole creation is about love. Okay. But it has many different aspects. You can call it divine romance, divine sport, greatest detective story ever told. What are we really doing? We are born in our mother's womb. We are not, they say, according to reincarnation theory, we made a game plan, a pre birth plan. Okay. So everybody is actually where they are, whether you are smart, not so smart, whether you are rich or not rich, it's all part of the pre scripted game. And we have to go through the opposites of duality because that is part of the whole game of creation. So God Himself is playing this game. So again, you go back to the most original whim. There is only one entity, God is, right? Paratpar Parabrahma state, which divides into infinite consciousness, which is what He said is eternal avataric infinite consciousness, and the shadow is the infinite unconsciousness. So we are playing in the shadow. So imagine, like, if you're an actor, you're playing the role of Rama or Krishna, but you go back home and be your normal self. If you're a Michael Jordan or, whatever sportsman you are, like, Tendulkar or something, you go back to your normal life. And what is that normal life? Is that who am I kind of thing. So, and
So
everything
to
is
come
happening.
back to the devil, yeah,
So the
come up.
devil is inside us. There's no devil here. The devil is like the way
Exactly.
you project yourself. It is like, for example, on planet Earth, the sun is always shining. So imagine the eternal avataric infinite consciousness is the sun. The earth is basically, imagine it is like the opposite, the infinite unconsciousness, right? So what is happening to the earth? It's moving. So we see day and night. Technically, there is no day and night. It's only the absence of light which creates darkness. So you can say the absence of love is what creates the devil or ego in us. So the
Yeah,
devil
yeah.
is basically a symbolic representation of the ego personality selves. We play Ravana is what? See, even these Mahabharata and Ramayana are actually allegories. You have to have something like a movie to show who you really are. So we are on planet Earth on the stage playing different roles, but actually hidden behind it, the whole holy grail or what we call the Amrit is basically to know that you are divine. Because we ultimately go to sleep every day 8 hours, you don't exist. The challenge here is, like I said earlier, the most simplest for me is how can I bring that Ananda state in your sound sleep into your waking state? And that can only happen through self awareness. I have a new, because I taught this course called Managing the Self and Others, Self Management, which I think is probably, I said, the most important course if you're doing an MBA or any other course. We used to call it moral science. Now I call it self ATM, like self awareness, self transformation, and self management, which is what we are doing now. Like, so the the significance of this whole thing is that even during Mahabharata and Ramayana time, it was all about who am I, and I have to consciously experience I am God, Aham Brahmasmi. Today also it is the same thing. Only thing is it's a kaleidoscopic image. Like we are in a different what do you call stage and ball game that is going on. So I think that we have to look at it from the top-down approach. Every time we come through a question like this, we go back to the God speaks and try to trace through the whole thing. Jai Baba.
Yeah, I think
Mm,
just to summarize, if you meet your friend again,
mm,
uh, and you have to answer this question or want to take this on, um, in Baba's words, there is nothing like dark and light. There is nothing like good and bad.
mm,
Everything is an expression of God. Everything is not real. Even those experiences that these dark arts, so-called dark
yeah,
arts present, are not real
yeah,
other than God.
mm,
Okay, other than God, there is nothing that is real. So you should just say that. So it's the dark art
the
is
illusion, as the illusion,
as
right?
much in the illusion as much
Mm,
as you and me are, as a beautiful picture is, a beautiful scenery that you see in creation. It's the same as that.
mm,
It's
yeah,
only
yeah,
illusory.
yeah, yeah,
And
yes,
there is, it's just, it's that if to take Ashok's preferred route of explaining this, if you take a superset, 0 and 1, and all the numbers are in that superset. That's the number of all, I mean, that's the set of all numbers. In that, some are dark, some are light. It's as simple as that. But
mm,
Baba does not distinguish and say that. Now, having said that, organized religion, uh, both, I think, the Abrahamic religions more so, and of course even in our Sanatana religion linked ones, the the personification of what is problematic is generally associated with something like a devil,
mm.
right? But the devil is within us. What
Devil is
Kama
within us.
said is
Yes,
perfect.
absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely, absolutely.
Ravana is within us. The devil
Mm,
is within us. So each time we are making a wrong move, which is not taking us closer to God, we are actually
yeah,
pandering to the devil. We are
yeah. And
feeding the devilish intention.
yes, and if we're talking about the black magic, I don't know if it really exists or not. If it is really exists,
Yes,
again
it
it's the
exists.
illusion. Then again
Yeah,
it's
it is
the illusion.
illusion. It
Mm,
exists. No, no.
mm,
We cannot fight with the fact that it exists. It exists.
mm, mm,
So there is no doubt that there are arts that question the rules of physics and things happen. Let's not fight that. But
yeah, yeah.
that's not real. That's
That's not real.
also just like a magician's magic and the real painting that's so beautiful. That's not magic. That's really the capability of art in an artist. So there's no difference between all three. A
Yeah.
magician's a performance, black magic, and a
Mm.
fantastic piece of art. All of
Yep.
all of these three are illusory.
Yes. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Makes
Yeah,
sense.
Jay Baba, the key point is the key point I think to remember for all of us is I am not the body. All these questions come when you treat yourself as the gross physical body, subtle energy body, and the causal mental body, intellect, and so on. As long as a person identifies with the body, then you're going to have all kinds of questions and get entangled in duality because duality doesn't exist because God is non dual. Breathing is
Hey, but
non
this
dual.
is a
Yes, no,
question
but
in duality, right? The
yes, it's
question came from one body to another. The body of the friend of Ashish
yes.
to another body, Ashish. Okay. So Ashish
So
is
the
answering in that level. But all that you said is without doubt the fact, right? So
right,
once you
right.
recognize the true values, you're done. You don't need all of this, doesn't matter anyway.
So if the substratum is not correct, if one doesn't talk from a basic foundation, the fundamentals of nature, the universal laws of nature, then the argument can go on and on. But two
Yeah,
parties
exactly.
should agree first that that person should say, I'm not the body. And you also should know that I am not the body. And then one can,
Yeah. Yes.
make a argument
Yes.
or have a kind of
Yes.
a commentary on this.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
if both parties have different foundations, then there won't be any
Mm.
answer to
Mm.
the question. Yeah, Jay Baba.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So you can't say you can't have an answer. So it's like a teacher, right? The when the teacher gets into a class, he gets into the level of the students that that class belongs to, right? He knows everything
Yeah.
probably in that subject,
Yeah.
but then he comes down to the level of the class that he's taking. In the same way, Ashish will answer uh, the question in that level, but Ashish knows more. Ashish has come to Meher Baba,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
think that's what I would say.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Baba.
yeah, yeah, Baba. Let's continue. But interesting conversation, very interesting conversation. Let's go on to the next essay. The impressions of obstructions. I repeat, the impressions of obstructions. Sanskaras are impressions of limited consciousness, and it is these impressions that limit consciousness. I repeat, sanskaras are impressions of limited consciousness, and it is these impressions that limit consciousness. So there is a circular logic here.
Yes, vicious.
Sanskaras are, what's that?
No, vicious circle. It creates a vicious
Yes,
circle.
it's a vicious circle. It's a circular logic of limitation. And the limitation is caused by something that's sanskara, right? And that's sustained by sanskara, right? But they in themselves limiting. Sanskaras themselves are limited, right? Let's continue. Every impression, good or bad, is an obstruction in the path of truth. And to realize truth, one has to be completely free from sanskaras. Even a single fine sanskara is a binding sanskara, a binding limitation. Sorry. And therefore, the limited mind has to lose its existence completely to realize the unlimited mind. I repeat, even a single fine sanskara is a binding limitation. And therefore, the limited mind has to lose its existence completely to realize the unlimited mind. So, when the word fine sanskara is used here, I would assume it refers to something that is a good sanskara, a sanskara which causes less harm than others. But even that has to be let go for you to realize the unlimited mind. Ashok.
Yeah, so, sorry for interrupting, but you know,
Sure.
this brings us to that having sanskaras as zero, both in quality and quantity. The chapter on sanskaras in discourses. That is, the precondition for uh, progressing on the path is that you should have absolute zero uh, sanskaras. I mean, you're totally the good and the bad and whatever you call it, plus or minus or zero and one have to be equal to have to be absolutely congruent or equal in the mathematical term, in my mathematical way of analyzing what has been said in this paragraph.
Correct. To just rephrase what you said, quality of the sanskara does not matter, but quantity should become zero. So even if you have, still it's a problem. It's a limitation. And limitation, as we just learned, cannot get us to unlimited mind. It limits the consciousness. Every sanskara, good or bad, limits consciousness. Just to quote the first line here, right? It is these impressions that limit consciousness. So even a good sanskara keeps you from getting to realization, which is unlimited mind.
I tend to disagree with you, Karthik, because I think the purport
Yeah.
of what is mentioned in the discourses chapter is that in both quality and quantity, everything has to be zero. I mean, good quality versus
What
bad quality.
is okay?
I mean, if
So what is quality equal to zero?
we can revisit.
Yeah, I think I will revisit as well. But in your words, just for a quick comment, if you can, what is quality equal to zero? Quality is an attribute. Attribute being zero is non-existence. So I am understanding it like that. So when you said quality and quality is an attribute, right? So anyway, if you want, maybe we go through that together, or you go through that and let us know. But I'm curious to know what is quality of a sanskara.
In fact, that chapter is very intriguing. Uh, how do you come to a total zero? It's very difficult to balance.
Very difficult. Yes.
To balance, and there you again need the grace of the perfect master.
Grace. Grace. Yes. Exactly. I
And
remember the chapter emphasizes and re-emphasizes multiple times about the difficulty in balancing and the importance of divine grace in ensuring the final set off. The set off is not entirely possible by the human being. It needs grace.
and here again, there's also a reference to annihilation of the mind. See, if you read the last line, even a
Correct.
single
Correct.
fine. Yeah. I mean, this. I'm in my little understanding. I may be digressing. I'm sorry, but this is what comes to my mind.
Sure. Continuing, the collecting of obstructing sanskaric impressions does not mean collecting and stacking them in a heap. Where can one dump the heap of one's impressions? Is there any place where heaps of sanskaras are found dumped? No, there is not such a place. This gives an idea of the gradual result, the manifestation of the avatar's work, the destruction of sanskaras. Each of us has those sanskaras that obstruct one toward the path of truth, and each of us has a heap of such sanskaras in our individual minds. The avatar has given a flame of his love to each one of us to burn those sanskaras. And that time is when all the grass and weeds, good and bad, grass being good, weeds being bad, are old and dry. At that time, The fire from just one flame takes hardly any time to burn the heap. But if the grass and weeds are wet and green, the heap takes a longer time to burn. Wet grass and weeds symbolize deep rooted sanskaras of good and bad desires. This is the meaning of the collective effect of his work. The first phase of his work is to wipe out those sanskaras that obstruct one from turning toward the path of truth. Hypocrisy, perversion, hatred, greed, etc. And when this sanskaric annihilation is finished, one approaches the straight path toward the truth. Despite this sanskaric adjustment, one still has sanskaras, and very often one finds obstructions in moving ahead. Despite this, one still is near the straight path, and though progress is checked temporarily, he receives help from infinite consciousness. But those who have deep sanskaras of obstruction that do not allow them to turn toward the path of truth make a zigzag journey, and despite efforts, end up exactly where they were after traveling a long, long time. These individuals cannot approach the straight path unless those samskaras are completely removed. Those who have such sanskaras of obstruction, if placed at the shore of the ocean, will not drink. It is the work of the avatar to bring humanity to the shore of the ocean, and it is the time of his manifestation that people discover the ocean, which is his reality.
This
Quick comments and very beautiful essay. Yeah, 1 second. I'll put you all. We have a guest who joined me here. Yeah, go ahead, Mamaji.
no here this paragraph. But those who have deep sanskaras of obstruction that do not allow them to turn towards the path of truth make a zigzag journey. This zigzag journey can be taken to the pendulum example, where
Sanskaras.
sanskaras move this way and that way, never settles in the center. So that imagery comes to my mind with this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, very correct, very correct.
Uh,
And I think I liked the analogy of the grass, the weeds, and
yes, yes,
the amount of dryness. Right, those three
yes,
things are very, very useful analogy. He starts with the heap, and the heap is a combination of grass as well as weeds,
yes,
and the the amount of wetness determines the readiness, and all you need is what we just spoke, the flame, which is the divine grace that ensures that the entire heap is finished in one stroke.
yes. And also it brings to the mind the 12th of every month, the Duni. So the twig that you just put it in the fire, Baba asks you to put everything, uh, but some may be so wet that they will not be uh, cleared.
Yeah.
Grass still remains means it is not going to be of help in progress. So for that, we need to struggle for that. Make it
Yeah.
weed or remove the grass by drying it up and then put it in the tuni. That
Yes. Yes.
process we have to do ourselves. with the grace
In-
of the author.
Indeed, indeed. So, like I said, even today we will be stopping at this point. I will stop sharing and I will quickly switch off the recording, and we have a guest, which is something I want to bring to everybody's attention. Any other comments on this chapter before we stop recording?
And I think that the page 59 of the discourses,
Okay,
the role of Sadhguru is something which is really uh, relevant to what we discussed.
sure. And I will go back and check on the quality, quantity, and then we will discuss offline on this. And if required, bring it up next Sunday.
Yes, we will discuss offline, and
Yeah,
it's
bring it
been
up
a
if required. Yeah, to
required,
clarify next time.
and also thank you. It's been a very insightful and lovely reading today. Lot of food for thought.
Jai Baba, Jai Baba. Thank you.
Okay.